No one helped the CEO's autistic daughter until the single dad janitor took her hand to dance. The music was loud, bright lights flashing across the marble ballroom, crystal chandeliers glittering like stars above a crowd dressed in silk and diamonds, yet in the middle of all that luxury, a little girl stood completely alone. She wasn't crying. She wasn't screaming. She was just frozen, hands pressed over her ears, trembling. And not a single person stepped toward her. Before we begin, if you believe kindness still matters in this world and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to One Heart Stories. Your support helps spread stories that truly matter. It was a warm Saturday afternoon, sunlight pouring through the tall glass windows of the Sterling Grand Hotel. The annual Sterling Tech Family Day had transformed the corporate headquarters into something almost magical. There were balloons, music, catered food, and a dance floor where executives laughed like teenagers. At the center of it all stood Adrian Vale, the company's powerful CEO. Newspapers called him the steel mind of Silicon Valley. Employees called him intimidating. Investors called him a genius. But today, he wasn't standing like a titan. He stood like a worried father. A few feet away from him was his 8-year-old daughter, Lila. Lila didn't like crowds. She didn't like loud sounds. She didn't like strangers. The world, to her, was too bright, too noisy, too fast. Doctors had explained it gently years ago: autism spectrum disorder. To Adrian, it didn't matter what it was called. She was still his whole world. But the world wasn't gentle with her. When the DJ turned the volume higher, the bass vibrated through the floor. Lila's fingers curled tightly into her dress. Her breathing became shallow. She rocked back and forth. People noticed. They always noticed. And then they always did the same thing. They looked away. Some whispered. Some stared. A few parents pulled their kids aside as if her difference were contagious. Adrian tried to guide her toward the quieter hallway, but a group of board members stopped him, asking about contracts and partnerships. Important things. Billion-dollar things. He glanced back just for a moment. And that moment was enough. Lila slipped away from the crowd and ended up near the back wall, alone beside the refreshment table, shoulders shaking while the music pounded like thunder. Across the room, someone else noticed her. Not an executive. Not a manager. Not someone wearing a suit. It was Mateo Cruz, the janitor. Mateo had been mopping the far corridor, his gray uniform slightly faded, name tag scratched from years of work. Most people barely saw him. He was invisible, the kind of man you passed without remembering. A single father. 2 jobs. Rent always late. But his eyes were soft. He recognized that look immediately. His son, Nico, used to make the same small rocking motion when he got overwhelmed. Mateo leaned the mop against the wall and walked slowly toward her, careful, gentle, like approaching a frightened bird. He didn't talk. He didn't rush. He simply lowered himself to her level and sat on the floor a few feet away. He hummed. A quiet, steady rhythm. Something warm. Something safe. Lila's rocking slowed. She peeked at him through tear-blurred eyes. He tapped the floor lightly with his fingers, keeping the beat. No pressure. No commands. Just presence. After a long minute, she copied the tapping. Then he offered his hand, not grabbing, just open. Waiting. The dance floor lights flickered gold and blue across the walls. The song shifted into something slower, softer. Matteo stood and gently swayed to the rhythm, still humming, showing her it was okay. And then something beautiful happened. Lila placed her tiny hand in his. They didn't dance like everyone else. There were no fancy steps. Just small side-to-side movements. Simple. Predictable. Safe. Her breathing steadied. Her lips curved into the faintest smile. For the first time that afternoon, she wasn't afraid. Across the ballroom, Adrian finally broke free from the board members and rushed over, panic rising in his chest until he stopped. Because what he saw didn't make sense. His daughter, laughing. His daughter, dancing. With the janitor. Other guests stared too. Some confused. Some embarrassed. Some suddenly aware of how they had done nothing. Matteo didn't even realize the CEO was watching. He was focused only on keeping the rhythm slow, steady, matching Lila's movements so she never felt lost. For those few minutes, he wasn't a janitor. He wasn't struggling. He wasn't invisible. He was just a father helping a child feel safe. Adrian felt something twist inside his chest. All his money, all his influence, all his power, and he couldn't give his daughter what this quiet man gave her in seconds. Understanding. Patience. Kindness. When the music ended, Lila didn't let go of Matteo's hand right away. She squeezed it. A silent thank you. Tears blurred Adrian's vision. The next Monday, something unexpected happened. A company-wide email announced a new position, Community Wellness Coordinator. Flexible hours. Full salary. Benefits. The first hire Matteo Cruz. His job wasn't cleaning floors anymore. It was helping create safe spaces for employees' families, especially children with special needs. Quiet rooms. Sensory areas. Inclusion programs. Because one dance had changed everything. And every afternoon, when sunlight filled the building, Lila would stop by his office just to tap her fingers to his quiet humming. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, share, and comment below. Your engagement helps these stories reach people who might need a reminder that kindness still exists. And before we end, I have one small request: comment kindness changes lives if you believe one small act can transform someone's world. Because sometimes heroes don't wear suits. Sometimes they carry a mop. And sometimes, all it takes, is holding a trembling hand and choosing to dance.